Good morning to the Liberal member of the House of Assembly from Mount Pearl South, Paul Lane. Good morning, Paul. You're on the air.
Hey, Paddy. How you doing this morning?
Not bad this morning. How about you?
I'm just great. I just came from the flag raising at the Confederation Building for Pride Week, so that was a great event, and glad to see a number of people got out there to support the cause. Paddy, I wanted to call in. I do want to just make a comment, if I can, and time allows, just, I guess, to Tony's comments. That's not why I called. I was actually in the queue much earlier this morning, and I wanted to just, I guess, add my voice and my concern as it relates to the moose issue, and I was glad that a gentleman called in. I think he was your first caller this morning. I heard him, and I think he's absolutely right, and I believe that those moose sensor systems, which, I think in fairness, I believe they were put there with the best of intentions as a pilot and hoping they would work, but obviously they're not working. So, I believe, and I've driven past certainly the ones closer to town by the Rod and Gun Club, and, you and he are absolutely right. It provides a false sense of security right now, and I think they should be removed, and hopefully, I don't know if there's any warranty or whatever available with them or any provision to get our money back. If we can, we certainly should explore that.
Paul, you don't know the answer to that question?
You need to calm down, I think.
You don't know the answer to that question, though, because you were on the government side when they were brought in, so you don't know if there's any hopes of recovering any money or anything to do with this failed pilot project?
No, I don't, Paddy, and as a matter of fact, I don't believe I was on the government side when it happened, because I think it happened before the last election when they were actually put in there, to be honest with you.
That's fair point. You were just so happened to be a member of the PC government after when you first
another election.
That's fine.
Exactly. So I honestly don't know, Paddy, to be honest with you. But, I mean, if there is a way of getting the money back, we should try, although I've got my doubts about it. But I think it is causing a false sense of security, and I think that we should be putting more effort into making sure that the brush is cut back. I mean, obviously people need to reduce their speeds as well. And, I think the fencing thing seems to be working from what I can gather, and I'm looking forward to hearing the results of this pilot project, because I thought that the results were going to be, coming out a lot sooner than now, and I haven't heard anything, and it appears to be working, and if so, I think we should be looking at doing some more of that. It seems to be working in New Brunswick, and we don't have to do it all at once, and I don't think the people from SOPAC and so on are expecting to do it all at once. I think they're just expecting that we see so much progress on an annual basis. Yeah, I don't think that's unreasonable.
No, and possibly not. It's certainly no need of fencing off the entirety of the province's highways and byways. It's impossible, for one. And there's a lot of other issues other than just keeping moose off the road.
Absolutely.
There's also access to the sides of the road, which is also important for many in the province. So there's hot spots that could be considered for fencing. I don't dispute that one bit. Look no further than the stretch road outside of Stephenville. Seems to be pretty safe.
Absolutely. And another thing that, I think could be looked at, and I've heard this idea be put out there as well, and that is, if we have moose that are causing problems hanging around in certain areas, and I'm not suggesting, I heard one guy talk about when moose season comes, you should be able to just, drive down the highway and have at her with the rifles, and I don't agree with that. I definitely don't agree with that. But certainly, there's a period of time every year, usually it's around May, June month, when the mothers drive away the last year's calf, the yearlings they call them, and they tend to be the ones that you hear a lot of and causing a lot of the problems. So even for that block of time, when it tends to be worse than other times, even if we had some resources put into having wildlife officers, that if they happen to be in the area and there's a moose there, that they could tranquilize them or whatever and get them out of that danger zone. I don't think that's unreasonable to at least examine that. I'm not saying that, exactly what period of time we would do it, and I don't know what the cost would be, but it's certainly something that could, be looked at. I don't know why we couldn't at least look at it and let the public know that we looked at it and what the costs were, and then we can decide if it's reasonable.
Well, I guess it boils down to whether or not it's a certain number of designated people who have that right to deal with a so-called problem moose, how we determine something's a problem moose, whether it's a wildlife officer, which of course is impossible because we don't have enough wildlife officers. So
one
there's
of the
a lot more
complications we have, though, is that we had a bunch of officers, Paddy, I think, that did have the ability to, I think they all carried weapons, or, at one point in time, and then they changed it up, and now there's only very few that actually have access to weapons to deal with things like that. So I don't know why all wildlife officers wouldn't have that ability to be able to tranquilize a moose. And again, these are just ideas I'm throwing out there that could be explored.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with going down that road of figuring out, because it's not quite as simple as there's a troubled moose, we get rid of it, because that means for starters, there's reasons why we don't allow hunting from the roads and backs of trucks, and there's complexities associated with the safety of shooting at a moose that's on the shoulder of a road, and who does it. So, I think it's worthwhile of a conversation, sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So anyway, Paddy, that's basically where I'm on. I just wanted to get that out there and support what that other gentleman has said, and what Mr. Nippert and Mr. Bellows and my good friend Lucy Stoyles, they've been calling in for the last number of years on these issues. And I think, that they are legitimate issues, and all we have to do is look at the accidents that are occurring, the fatalities, and even the people, that are at the Miller Center. And, even from, besides the human suffering and the issues with their families and all that kind of stuff, look at the cost even. When you talk about cost, look at the cost if somebody ends up in the Miller Center for months on end, and then they have ongoing medical issues for the rest of their lives that we all have to pay for. So even from a cost perspective, I think if we did that analysis, I think it's worthwhile to invest in the prevention. Yeah,
it probably is, and we'll have to see what the result of the class action lawsuit is, too, because that's going to play a real prominent role, I would suggest, in how we deal with the moose vehicle issue from here on in. Appreciate your time this morning.
Not a problem, Paddy. As always, a pleasure talking to you. You have a good day.
And same to you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye now.
Paul Lane, Liberal member of the House for Mount Pearl South.